Hiya. One of the key things about this yoga that I practice and teach based on the philosophies of Anders is the idea of finding new ways of supporting ourselves that come away from our learned habits, postural habits of holding ourselves in place using, pulling up the thighs, tucking under the tailbone, tensing the shoulders, etc., etc., and finding rather a sense of trusting the ground beneath us, the sky above us, and the space all around us to hold us so that it becomes something passive rather than active. And one of the ways that I like to demonstrate this often, because it gives me a chance to remember my dear old dad, was before he passed away at a ripe old age, but before he did so, he'd kind of lost the feelings in his feet. And so I'd observe him sitting on the sofa, for example, trying to get up from the sofa. And because, if you can imagine, he had no feeling in his feet, then he would have to use his brute strength to pull himself up. So I would say to him, try and find your feet. But there's a little bit of a paradox because I say to people, pour down through your feet. But the key is when you pour down through your feet, when you become grounded, you don't follow that movement with your weight. Because if you did that, if you poured down through your feet and went with your feet, then very difficult to get up from that position as well. So rather than that, it's coming to this sense of the feet almost like being on a springboard, and the more that your feet plant their roots, the more that sends you up towards the sky above, just like a tree. The further the roots go down, the more that tree will grow. And so we come to a sense, maybe if I turn sideways on, you'll sort of see that more easily. So as opposed to holding myself here, pulling up through the thighs, tucking the tailbone under, stacking the vertebra one on top of the other, yes, that's going to sort of hold me there, but there's a lot of tension involved in that. And so rather I'd find a way of the downwards movement sending me up, so that, and then from there, once I've got that feeling of being supported, of being held, of being lifted, even as my knees begin to bend, then suddenly potentially challenging postures, for example chair pose, or uttanasana, or simply standing, become much lighter, much easier, much more pleasurable. And so I insist a lot on practicing chair pose and maybe even dancing your way all the way down into a squatting position. But although it looks as though I'm sort of going downwards, the overall feeling is one of being lifted up. That's my little snippet for today. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back with more very soon. Thanks for watching.